One Piece manga chapter 943. Now this was a good chapter because we got a lot of information pertaining to smiles and how it affected the people of Ebisu Town and why they couldn't smile. And I think we were more or less right when it comes to the drawbacks that was stated in this chapter, but it's a lot worse than I thought because smiles have not one but several drawbacks, which makes a lot of sense because it's not perfected. And we also got Yasuo's death in this chapter, and I like this because it's going to be the driving force for the Alliance right now, because we saw that everyone saw Yasuo die, even in the prison, and even in the last chapter we saw that even Orochi's henchmen were turning heads, and we also saw that even Shiradoji was shocked by this. This could be something that could push him to join the Alliance, so I wouldn't be surprised if they get more allies from this for the final fight against Kaido. Now the first section of this chapter focused on what smiles really are and how they came about. Now the first and biggest drawback of smiles is that only 1 in 10 individuals that eat smiles get the fruit's ability, which is insane because that's an extremely low probability. But overall it does enhance Kaido's crew even with the failures. So we know that Kaido has 500 smile users in his crew, so we can make the assumption that there's at least 4,000 failed users in Kaido's crew, which is huge by the way. And this goes back to the other drawback that was mentioned, and it was said that even pleasurers, people who did not receive the fruit's ability, also got drawbacks because the formula wasn't perfected. So they cannot swim, which is kind of a shocker to me because I didn't think they retained the same side effects as actual devil fruits, which makes smiles even more trash. And the other side effect is that they cannot show emotion, specifically anger and sadness, which leave them with a permanent smile on their face. And this really goes all the way back to Doflamingo. I feel like there was a theme with Dofi that kind of was foreshadowed with the true nature of smiles, and we now know that it was actually named Smile because of the side effect. So the whole thing with Dofi always smiling, I feel like that was kind of a hint towards smiles, and he was also the first person who said it back all the way back during Subodi. So Dofi was a big guy in all of this. Now one of the things I always think about is if it's possible to eat several smiles. Now they did mention that smiles also have the same drawback as actual devil fruits, so logically speaking one can make the assumption that it's also impossible to eat multiple smiles, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. Yes, they might be very similar, but they're still different at the end of the day, and this mostly goes to how they were made. I see smiles in a more science related light, and so I think it might be possible to eat multiple smiles. The chance of success to obtain 2 fruit ability is pretty damn low. First of all, you have a 10% chance of getting 1 ability, and then you'd have to get lucky again to get another ability, so it's like a 1 in 1,000 to get 2 successful smile fruits. I think we might see this with one of the headliners, and he could be some sort of chimera and the only one in the crew, and potentially this could leeway us to Blackbeard having multiple fruits. I think that might be a topic that might be brought up in this arc, but I think I'll leave that for another video. Now Zoro and Sanji, it has been a while. They finally met in this chapter, which was something that was really satisfying and something that a lot of people were waiting on because of Wano, because of Whole Cake, because a lot of people felt like Zoro didn't like Sanji's decision of going to Whole Cake on his own, and this was a point that was emphasized during when Zoro talked about Sanji. And it seems like Oda has been writing it in a way that Zoro and Sanji avoided each other. The last time Zoro and Sanji had a moment was about 5 years ago during Dressrosa, which was a long time ago. Now in the world of One Piece, it's like a couple of months or a couple of weeks. I'm not sure what the timeline is, but it's not that long in the manga. But in real time where we are, it was 5 years. That was the last time they had any form of interaction. So seeing this happen in this chapter was really great and satisfying. 5 years in the making, and we know that Sanji and Zoro have the best teamwork when it comes to battle. So that was great seeing them just pop in this chapter to the rescue. And from what it looks like, it seems like Hawkins is probably going to be Sanji's fight and Zoro is going to fight X Drake. And that's kind of cool because it's always great to see someone other than Luffy and the Straw Hat fight someone of note. So seeing Sanji and Zoro get in a fight against other members of the Worst Generation is great, especially for Sanji, because Sanji, we don't really know where to classify him in terms of battle power, right? We know he's the 3rd strongest, but how strong is Sanji? And this is going to be good because we're going to see how well he fares against one of the members, Hawkins, right? One of the members of the Worst Generation. Is Sanji Worst Generation level as well? That's going to be great to see. And something else a lot of people are expecting is that Oda might make the rivalry between Sanji and Zoro have a more serious serious tone, and that Zoro talks to Sanji about Whole Cake and what happened there, because Sanji technically left the crew for a while, and we know that back in Water 7 Zoro said if someone leaves the crew again, he's gonna leave the crew. So I don't know if that's something Oda is gonna talk about or if it's gonna get sidetracked, but it is interesting to see that, you know, Oda has avoided these two meeting up for a while now. So I think there might be some sort of interaction there, some serious tone interaction with Zoro and Sanji there. Hopefully it happens, because this would be great for the crew in general, right? So there might be some tension when it comes to that discussion, so that's something I'm looking forward to if it does happen. But overall, I thought this chapter was pretty good because we got a lot of setups. A lot of setups are on the way. Sanji versus Hawkins. Where does Sanji fare? How does Sanji fare against one of the members of a worst generation? And then we have Zoro versus X Drake, is something that I'm also looking forward to. And Yasuo's death is something that's definitely going to be that's going to add more progression to this arc. Maybe this could leeway us to Act 3, which is supposed to be action heavy, based on like the story, you know, 5 act and all of that. And I also like how Oda wrapped up everything about the Smiles in this chapter. I thought that was pretty well thought out ever since, you know, Smiles back in, like, you know, the Pleasurers, Gifters, all those guys. I felt like that was really well done on Oda's part. But yeah, this chapter was pretty great. But as always, just my quick thoughts on the chapter. Comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for more One Piece content. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you guys later. Peace.